Hello, this is Tori. This is the character's silhouette shared in the community. There were a lot of funny comments after a long time, and I noticed there were some very cultured people as well. I was surprised because she closely resembles a woman in Millet's The Gleaners. I'm amazed at how people discover things like this. I expected the motion to be tough and shared the silhouette, but everyone got the answer immediately. The answer is none other than the newbie cutter, Ralph Jones. The best numbers are 99 and the new 15, but I chose 98 since it's most popular. Now let's take a look at Ralph, the powerhouse just below the top tier. It starts with an event scene featuring karaoke, but people tend to skip it a lot during matches. This is the basic standing A, which has surprisingly good priority. Standing B uses the same properties and animation as both far and close versions. It's a basic move that's just one frame slower than close C, so it's actually pretty fast. Also, the hitbox extends past the graphic, making it better than Clark's A. Its high position makes it great for preemptive jumps and as an anti-air. It's similar to the commonly used crouching C, so you can use it when needed. It's one frame faster than crouching C, but its stun is fairly weak. Of course, it can be cancelled, but because of the stun I mentioned earlier, there are limits where some special moves that use a path can't connect. Here comes the core of the A basic moves, the vertical super jump. It has a crazy hitbox, and if your opponent doesn't know its properties, the awkward motion will leave them wondering why they lost. Its air-to-air performance is insane, but it's also perfect for punishing anyone who blindly rushes in thinking they can grab you. Although it has a slow 9-frame startup, even if you activate it right at the start of your jump, the attack stays out until you land, creating a crazy AT field. To overcome this, you must attack low or run behind, but it's hard. If you pick Ralpo, you get a basic move far C that you can mindlessly spam hundreds or thousands of times. It's a 9-frame move which seems slow, but its hitbox and reach are amazing. Any opponents trying to mess around with weak basic moves can be shut down by this move. Kyo with nearly identical hurtbox and hitbox can't win against this. Even Benimaru, despite his strong light kick, loses to the far C. Just 3 hits from a distance can take about half his health. Among Ralph's close range normals, the close C is the strongest, fastest, and can be cancelled, but it's not as fast as Kyo's close C. It's exactly 1 frame slower. It's the easiest and most common move to link with Ralph's backbreaker. It's a high damage combo, so not using it means missing a key move. If you can't use far C, your next best option is crouching C. It's very fast with high priority, making it ideal for poking. Far C's main weakness is its high hitbox, so it misses smaller opponents. This is a simple zoning move that fully addresses that weakness. Its reach is shorter than far C, but being able to cancel into specials is an advantage. Another benefit is the attack's long active frames, making it effective for pressure. If timed right, crouching C can hit twice. With proper timing, jump C is very effective. It seems to have short reach with the hitbox only on the elbow, but if you check, its attack box nearly extends to the hip, making it a wild normal move. It's actually one of the easier normal moves for creating cross-ups. Thinking of it as hitting with Ralph's hip helps you create cross-ups. This is the vertical super jump C, used solely for its damage, no matter the restrictions. The restriction itself isn't bad, but since it only activates with a vertical super jump, it's hard to land in normal situations. It's best used when the opponent is stunned. In max mode, landing a vertical super jump combo can deal over 50% damage, ending the round after just 2 successes. If you have enough meter, you can even do it like this, but it's a wasteful combo if the opponent's health is low enough to be stunned. It's pretty good for zoning, but far B doesn't have much use other than cutting off short jumps. Judging by the hitbox, it's definitely a solid normal, but it has the flaw of not hitting opponents with a small crouching hurt box. Still, you could say this is a special case, allowing control of space in the field. This move has the same startup as the crouching C I showed earlier, but deals less damage, has shorter range, and a weaker hitbox, so there's no real reason to use it. It's a decent anti-air for short hops, and if used quickly it can sometimes catch opponents. This is the close B, a basic move that's practically useless in any situation. Top players sometimes use this for performance with a backbreaker, but it's weaker than close C and 1 frame slower, so there's little reason to use it. If you use this after a jump attack and mess up the input, you might miss your move and accidentally whiff a grab. Another downside is that the hitbox is too high, so it doesn't even reach shorter characters. It's a pretty average anti-grab move. It has a reasonably fast startup frame and hitbox. However, anti-grab moves are fundamental skills needed in situations that require mind games. The reason is that while the anti-grab move itself is a basic move that can't be cancelled, the low attack can be cancelled and linked into a backbreaker, making it a fundamental skill. Let's play it back slowly to check if the opponent recovers from the stun. You can grab Gingap Pan before he resets to neutral. Of course, it's possible even in max state. It's a solid jump B for both air-to-air and air-to-ground. The hurt box is placed above the attack box, allowing it to handle basic moves coming from below Ralph to some extent. But personally, I think it's safest to just use it when you're trying to escape. This is the most useless vertical super jump B ever. The hitbox is fine, but the active frames are brief, and for vertical super jumps, there's little reason to pick this over A or C. Its basic zoning effect is inferior to A, and in terms of damage and stun, it's outclassed by C, so there's absolutely no reason to use it. This is the utterly useless Far D normal. If you ask why it's unnecessary, just compare it to Far C. First of all, its reach and hitbox, which are important for zoning at a distance, are worse than C's, and even its startup frames are slower than Far C, so why would you use it and put yourself at a disadvantage? Unless you have some kind of disease where using Far C will kill you, let's just seal away Far D. Use close D only if using close C or crouching C is harmful due to your condition. With a 12 frame startup, the slowest, and no cancel option, there's no reason to use it. It dodges low attacks, but since it's not ranged, that doesn't matter much. This is a standard crouching D, but it's mainly used when fighting smaller characters like Choi or Chin. When you can't hit with crouching C, you use D instead. Since it lacks priority, using it with your opponent results in at least a draw. This is Ralph's jump D, which is the best for rushing. Compared to the jump C, it has a slightly stronger hitbox for frontal attacks. That doesn't mean it's a move that can't cross up. You can still use it. However, if you can't get the cross up, it's much easier to just use C. This move, the Vulcan Punch, activates when you mash the punch button. The hitbox itself is actually quite aggressive. It would be ideal to use it whenever you want for anti-air or other uses, but as a rapid tap move, it doesn't activate exactly when you intend. You can't go backward, but you can use it as you move forward. It's nearly impossible to jump over this move. However, there's also the drawback that you can easily get caught from behind by moving with a roll. If the counter lands, you can follow up with a hit for good damage. This is Ralph's signature move, the Gatling attack. The hitbox and damage are both good. If you use the strong version instead of the weak one, it covers more distance. That's why in basic combos, people usually prefer to use the strong version. This move is great overall, but if the input timing is even a little off, it won't hit, which is a drawback. Illy's motion misses more characters than you might expect, using it without knowing which ones can get you punished. A counter CD lets you combo into Gatling attack for more hits. Central Processing Unit Ralpero is insanely good at using the superpowered bomb as an anti-air. Since it's defensive, it's awkward for Ralpyu to use unless he's on standby. As a light anti-air move, it offers exactly 3 frames of invincibility. If it hits as a guard, it connects with a follow-up hit, but the damage isn't anything special. You can also use it directly in the air without the upward motion. Personally, I prefer to use it at a low altitude. Unless your opponent has top-tier physical skills, there's no way they can counter this in the air. If you use pre-input, it's actually very easy to use. The low-altitude bomb punch is a technical attack and keeps you from going too deep, reducing the risk of punishment. This devil's technique, Ralph Kick, takes down newbies. The strong version covers much more distance. It doesn't work well against bosses, but when newbies fight each other, nothing is as tough as this. When Ralph Kick hits someone, they're launched into the air with their hitbox still active. On a regular field, follow-up attacks are limited, but in the corner, almost any attack can land. Since the attack hitbox is so large, rolling past it can still cause a reverse guard. You might not believe it, but this is a situation that really happens often in beginner matches. Ralph Kick has invincibility frames from the jump until the attack hitbox comes out. Since it takes 11 frames, you could get hit by a King Fireball. Backbreaker has had a failed grab animation since '98. This move was once just called a command grab, but now it's also known as tibia. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you can't use all the moves I mentioned. Since the last input of the command is forward, you can do a dash tibia without any delay. It's the fastest grab, so use it as a reversal when your opponent's in front. You can mix in empty jumps, low pokes, dashes, and other patterns to really mess with your opponent. The crazy thing is, when you use this in a combo, even tough guys like Goro will have their health shredded. And Ralph, who can blow up from behind, always has the potential to turn the game around at any moment. Most characters will die if they get hit by this combo twice in max mode. It's on another level, even compared to Minister Corona's power. This horse riding kick is very satisfying, and the strong version knocks opponents farther. When you run after using it, you become invulnerable to low attacks. If you use it on its own, it's easy to get blocked, and your opponent can punish you with a guaranteed combo from behind. So it's natural to only use it as part of a combo, and the command itself is also easy. In Max's case, because of the hitback, it's almost impossible to connect it in a combo. It's best to use Max's riding move only when your opponent is in the corner. It closes the gap really quickly, and it feels great when it hits. Setting up Galactica Phantom or Phantom after a riding move is ideal, but since each character wakes up at different times, timing it perfectly is very hard. Success is like winning the lottery, failure means disaster. The first captain is Galaxy Phantom, rolled with South African Ochre Jade. This is a move that will always break through a normal guard, but it can be blocked by a few moves that have guard points. Not only can you guard, but if your opponent is a real tough guy, he can even counterattack head-on. Of course, this is a do-or-die showdown for both sides. If your opponent makes a mistake, a big counter damage will happen. When a counter lands, the damage goes up for about 2 seconds. If you just land a Max Galaxy car, it deals about the same counter damage as a regular Galaxy car, but if even the Max Galaxy car gets countered, your life will be left with just a sliver. The Max Galaxy car has a guard point when flying, making it nearly impossible for opponents to counter. It blocks the King projectile and counters with its own attack. That's all for the 98 Ralph that I prepared. He has strong attack range, but many gaps in his moves, making it hard to compete with top-tier characters like Iori or Chris. But that's only the case when you're up against people who really know what they're doing. But if 2 average players are fighting, Ralph's crazy basic moves alone can make it a fair fight, even if the matchup isn't in his favor. That's all for now. This has been Pody. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.